Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today, we are going to be tackling a really interesting book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles.
Okay.
Now, this book, it doesn't promise a lottery win or anything like that, but it does claim that getting rich is an actual science.
Mm-hmm.
Like math, you follow the principles and you get the results. Pretty intriguing, right?
Yeah, it really is. And Wattles, he doesn't really beat around the bush. I
Yeah.
mean, right out of the gate, he says that every person has a right to be rich. And he doesn't just mean like comfortable, he means like truly wealthy.
Okay, no, that's a pretty bold statement.
Right.
Most people would say, it'd be nice to be rich, but he's saying it's a right. Why does he think that?
Well, he believes that the very core purpose of life is growth and expansion.
Okay.
And money is simply a tool for that expansion.
Okay.
So imagine wanting to travel the world or study art or help a cause that you really care about.
Right.
All of those things take resources.
Yep.
And what Wattles would say is that limiting yourself financially is actually limiting your very ability to live.
He even argues that poverty hinders something as basic as love.
Right.
He says that true love expresses itself through giving. But if you're struggling just to survive, you can't give as freely.
Exactly. It's like your potential to really love and experience life fully is stunted if you're constantly worried about your basic needs.
Right. So Wattles says that if anyone else in your town can get rich, so can you.
Right.
It's not luck. It's about understanding these principles that he lays out, and he calls it the certain way.
Yes, the certain way of thinking and acting.
So he's saying there's like a Formula A science to it.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big claim. I mean, a lot of people would say they're held back by circumstances, like lack of capital or being in the wrong business or too much competition.
Mm-hmm.
What does Battle say to that?
He tackles these objections head on.
Right.
So, for example, when people talk about lack of capital as a reason why they can't be wealthy,
Mm-hmm.
Wattles counters with this idea of original substance, which is this infinite, intelligent energy source from which all creation comes.
Okay.
He's essentially saying that there's no real scarcity in the universe, just limited thinking.
I mean, he really gets pretty vivid in trying to explain this point. He talks about, imagine building a palace for every single family in America.
Right.
He says there's enough building material for that.
Yeah.
Or think about, clothing and feeding every single person luxuriously. He uses these kind of extreme examples to really challenge the not enough to go around mentality.
Exactly. He wants us to really see abundance as the true nature of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we somehow magically used up all the gold or the oil that we can see,
Yeah.
more would simply be produced from this original substance to meet our needs.
Okay, so if this abundance is all around us,
Yeah.
then why aren't we all, swimming in piles of gold coins right now? How does this original substance actually work in our lives?
Right.
Does it just, magically appear?
Right. No, not quite. This is where thought comes in.
Okay.
Wattles says that thought is the primary creative force. It's how we interact with and shape that original substance to make it manifest in our reality.
So you're saying it's not enough to just, wish for $1 million.
Right.
I have to actively shape it with my thoughts.
Exactly. Wattles explains that thought imprints on formless substance, causing it to take form. Like the seed of an oak tree already contains the blueprint for the whole mighty oak.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts are kind of doing the same thing. You're creating the blueprint for your wealth.
Wow, that's a pretty mind-blowing concept. So if our thoughts are so powerful,
Right.
how do we make sure that we're shaping that original substance in a way that leads to wealth and not to, something else?
That's where the practical side comes in.
Okay.
So Wattles outlines a very specific way of thinking and acting that he calls the certain way.
Okay.
And it's a combination of focused thought and deliberate action.
Okay.
It's not enough to just think, you've got to act on it too.
And one of the key elements he talks about is gratitude, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But it's not just about, feeling grateful for what we already have.
No, it's much deeper than that.
Okay.
Wattles explains that gratitude is kind of like tuning ourselves to the right frequency to receive the abundance that's already all around us.
Okay.
He even uses the example of Jesus, who frequently expressed gratitude, saying things like, I thank thee, Father,
Uh-huh.
as evidence of its power.
So it's like a grateful heart is a magnet for good things.
Exactly. It's about cultivating a state of receptivity to the good that's already flowing towards you, even before you see it manifest in the physical world.
Okay, we've talked about the power of thought,
Right.
the importance of gratitude.
Hmm?
But what about action? Does Wattles think we should just sit around visualizing riches all day?
No, no, no.
Or is there more to it?
He is very clear that action is crucial.
Okay.
While thought is the creative force, personal action is needed to receive, and utilize that wealth.
Okay.
We have to create the channels for it to flow into our lives. It's like imagining building a house to live in.
Yeah.
You need both the blueprint and the construction.
So you can't just daydream about a mansion. You got to lay some bricks.
Exactly.
It tells us becoming an advancing man, right?
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
So the advancing man is always striving for growth, not just financially, but in every area of life.
Okay.
They radiate this impression of increasing. They're not just focused on personal gain, but they contribute to the world around them, giving more than they take.
He even says every man who gets rich by creation opens a way for thousands to follow him.
That's right.
So it's not just about getting rich yourself. It's about creating a ripple effect of abundance
Yes.
that benefits others.
Now, how this advancing man concept applies to people in different jobs. That's where it gets really interesting.
And that's what we'll dive into next time. All right, looking forward to it.
Welcome back. So let's dig into the specifics here.
Okay,
How do you actually become this advancing man that Wattles keeps talking about?
right,
It's not about just, vague positive thinking.
right.
He lays out a very deliberate way of thinking and acting.
So it's like a step-by-step guide almost
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
aligning yourself with these principles of wealth creation.
Right. And one of the first things he emphasizes is clarity.
Okay.
You need to have a crystal clear vision of what you want. And it's not just enough to say, I want more money.
Right.
You need to have a specific amount in mind.
Okay.
And even better, you know what you're going to do with that wealth. How are you going to use it?
So it's like creating a detailed blueprint
Yeah,
for your future reality.
precisely. He even suggests that you should spend as much of your leisure time as possible contemplating this mental picture,
Okay.
really fleshing out all the details and feeling the joy of it as if it were already real.
It's almost like a vision board, but in your mind.
Exact. Yeah.
But visualization isn't enough. is it?
No,
He talks about the importance of purpose and faith as well.
absolutely. He says that your vision must be backed by a burning desire to bring it into being.
Okay.
It can't be just like a half-hearted wish. It needs to be a deep driving force within you.
Okay.
And then backing that desire, you need unshakable faith that it is already yours, that it's just a matter of time before it manifests in the physical world.
So it's almost like acting as if what you desire is already a reality,
Exactly.
even before you see it.
Yes. He even uses the phrase, live in the new house mentally until it takes form around you physically.
Okay.
It's about cultivating that mental state of ownership,
Okay.
a deep inner knowing that what you desire is already on its way.
Now, this is starting to sound a little bit like, the secret of the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Is Wattles just saying that we can manifest anything we want just by thinking about it hard enough?
That's where the action part comes in.
Okay.
Wattles is very clear that we have to act in a way that aligns with our beliefs.
Okay.
He says, do what you can where you are with what you have.
So it's not about passively waiting for the universe to deliver a suitcase full of cash to your doorstep.
No,
You have to actively create opportunities and take advantage of them.
precisely. And not just any action will do.
Okay.
He talks about this concept of efficiency.
Okay.
It's not about the quantity of actions that you take, but the quality.
Mm-hmm.
Every action should be infused with purpose and intention.
So it's not about running around like a chicken with its head cut off.
Right.
It's about being focused and making every move count.
Yes. And he uses the term successful action to describe this.
Okay.
A successful action is one that is performed with the full conviction that it is leading you towards your goal.
So it's like every action is almost like a mini manifestation,
Exact.
powered by your belief and intention?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm starting to get the picture here.
Yeah.
Clear vision,
Yeah.
burning desire,
Uh-huh.
unwavering faith,
Yeah.
and efficient action.
Yes.
But what about those of us who, feel stuck in a job that we hate?
Right.
Does Wattles have any advice for, finding work that we're actually passionate about?
He does, actually. He addresses this directly.
Okay.
And, he believes that doing what you want to do is life.
Okay.
He acknowledges that some people might have, natural talents for certain types of work.
Mm-hmm.
But he also thinks that you can succeed in any field if you're passionate enough about it.
So he's not saying that we're all, destined for one specific career path.
Right.
We have the power to choose what we want to do and then make it happen.
Exactly. And he suggests that the best way to change your business or your environment is through growth.
Okay?
So don't just quit your job on the whim. Use your current situation as a stepping stone to something better.
So even if I'm working in a dead-end job right now,
Right.
I can still be an advancing man by, learning new skills, making connections, building towards a career that I'm actually excited about.
That's right. And while you're in that transition phase, focus on doing your current job with excellence.
Okay.
This not only helps you develop valuable skills, but it also sends a message to the universe that you're ready for more.
So it's like the universe is constantly looking for people
Yes.
who are ready to step up and contribute their unique talents.
Exactly. And he encourages us to never give up on our dreams, no matter how challenging our circumstances might seem.
But what about people who, work for these large impersonal corporations?
Right.
It's easy to feel like a cog in a machine in those environments.
Mm-hmm.
Does Wattles think it's possible to thrive in those kinds of situations?
Yeah, he addresses that too. And,
Okay.
he gives this example of someone who's working for like a big corporation like the Steel Trust,
Okay.
and they're feeling trapped and hopeless.
Mm.
And Wattles argues that even in those situations, there is always an opportunity to create a better life.
So it's not about the external circumstances.
Right.
It's about our internal mindset.
Exactly. And he even suggests that if enough individuals within those large corporations embraced the principles that he's outlining,
Yeah.
the entire system would actually have to change to accommodate their growth. It's like saying that we have the power to transform even the most rigid structures from the inside out.
That's a pretty powerful idea.
Yeah.
So what are some specific things that we can do to become this advancing man,
Okay.
regardless of our current situation?
Well, he talks about the importance of radiating the impression of increase in every interaction.
Okay.
And it's not about like bragging or being arrogant,
Right.
but it's about carrying yourself with a sense of confidence and purpose.
Okay.
It's about giving more in use value than you take in cash value.
So it's not about what you can get from people.
Right.
It's about what you can give.
Exactly. And he stresses the importance of constantly striving to become more than your present place.
Okay.
Always be reaching for a higher level of achievement. Always be learning and growing.
So it's a continuous process of self-improvement and expansion? Yes. Not just a one-time goal.
Precisely. And he argues that this attitude of service and generosity is actually a key element in attracting wealth.
It's almost like the universe rewards those who are focused on making a positive contribution to the world.
He also emphasizes the importance of guarding your thoughts and your words.
Okay.
Don't dwell on past failures or speak in a discouraged or discouraging way.
So he's a big believer in the power of positive thinking.
Yes.
But it's not just about putting on a happy face.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating a deep inner belief in your ability to create the life you desire.
Exactly. He says, never admit the possibility of failure or speak in a way that infers failure as a possibility. It's about shifting your mindset from scarcity and limitation to abundance and possibility.
He also advises us to, avoid negative news and pessimistic conversations, right?
Yes. He believes those things can kind of lower your vibration and block the flow of abundance. Instead, focus your attention on things that inspire and uplift you.
Okay.
Cultivate an optimistic outlook, a belief that things are always working out for your highest good.
So it's not about ignoring the challenges in the world,
Right.
but it's about choosing to focus on solutions and possibilities.
Exactly. And he emphasizes the importance of gratitude in maintaining this positive mindset.
Okay.
He says the grateful mind continually expects good things, and expectation becomes faith.
So it's not just about being thankful for what we already have.
Right.
It's about cultivating an attitude of gratitude for the good things that are on their way,
Exactly.
even before we see them manifest in the physical world.
Precisely. It's about trusting that the universe is conspiring to support us even when we can't see it yet.
Wow.
And he encourages us to practice gratitude regularly, even for the things that we haven't received yet.
Okay.
He believes that this actually strengthens our faith and accelerates the manifestation of our desires.
So it's like saying that gratitude is a powerful tool for aligning ourselves with the flow of abundance.
Exactly. And he argues that this alignment is essential for achieving lasting wealth and happiness.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From choosing the right work to cultivating an attitude of gratitude
Yes.
to radiating the impression of increased. But what if we hit a roadblock?
Right.
What if we experience setbacks or failures?
Yeah.
How does Wattles suggest we deal with those?
That's a great question, and that's actually something that he addresses directly. And in fact, we're going to take into those specific strategies and some more practical tips
Okay.
in the last part of our deep dive.
Sounds good. I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear more about how to handle those inevitable bumps in the road.
Yes.
But for now, let's just give everyone a moment to digest what we've covered so far. It's a lot to take in.
It is, yeah. Take a moment to reflect what resonates with you.
Yeah.
What are you still grappling with? This is a new way of looking at wealth and success,
Right.
and it requires a shift in mindset.
And remember, Wattles emphasizes that the first and most important step is to believe in these principles.
Hmm.
He even goes so far as to say that doubting them is like a sin.
Right.
He's that serious about the power of belief.
He is. He sees doubt as a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't believe you can be wealthy, then you're probably right.
Right.
But if you wholeheartedly embrace these principles, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the science of getting rich.
Yes.
We've covered, all of Wattles' big ideas,
Mm-hmm.
the right to be rich, the power of thought, the importance of gratitude and action.
Right.
But now let's get down to like the how-to.
Okay.
What are the specific actions that actually attract wealth, according to Wattles?
Well, he gives a lot of practical tips,
Okay.
but they all kind of center around this idea of being an advancing man,
Okay.
which remember is someone who's always striving to give more in use value than they receive in cash value.
So it's like every interaction, every deal,
Yeah,
it's got to be win-win. You're adding value to the other person's life,
right.
not just looking out for number one.
Precisely. And he believes that this generosity is actually what draws abundance to you. It's
Yeah.
not about being a pushover or anything, but it's
Yeah.
about approaching every interaction with the intention of leaving the other person better off.
He even uses the example of like selling candy to a child.
Right.
Do it with the thought of adding value to that child's experience.
Yeah.
Not just making a quick buck. It's a different way of looking at even just those simple transactions.
It really is. It's a shift from transactional to transformative.
Mm-hmm.
Each interaction, no matter how small, is an opportunity to make a positive impact.
And he says people can pick up on that.
Yes.
That energy of advancement almost like makes you attractive
Yes.
to do business with,
Right.
to be around. You become like a magnet for opportunity.
He argues that you attract the people who are looking for exactly what you offer.
Okay.
And this naturally then leads to greater financial success.
Now that's kind of a radical idea.
Yes.
Focus on giving rather than getting in order to actually get more.
Right.
I mean, does that really work in the kind of cutthroat business world that we live in?
Well, it's definitely a paradigm shift,
Yeah.
but it's backed up by a lot of spiritual traditions.
Okay.
And increasingly even modern psychology and business practices as well.
Okay.
This idea of creating value, fostering win-win situations, it resonates beyond just the financial realm.
Okay, so be an advancing man.
Yes.
What other kind of concrete actions does he recommend?
Well, efficiency is huge for him.
Okay.
It's not about working harder or longer. It's
Yeah.
about making every action count.
Okay.
Remember, successful action,
Mm-hmm.
each step you take should be moving you toward your goal, powered by your belief.
So not just busy work,
Right.
but purposeful action.
Yes.
So if I'm visualizing that big promotion while I'm working on this presentation, I'm like infusing it
Yes.
with that energy of success.
Every task becomes a mini manifestation.
Okay.
And when you string together these successful actions, you build momentum that propels you forward.
Like a snowball effect toward your goals.
Exactly.
But what about setbacks?
Yeah.
What if I do all of this right and things still go wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Rattles must acknowledge that life throws curveballs sometimes.
He absolutely does.
Yeah.
And his advice is surprisingly positive.
Okay.
He often sees setbacks as blessings in disguise,
Okay.
redirecting you towards something even better than you had originally planned.
He tells that story of that student who was just devastated when a big business deal fell through.
Right. And instead of getting discouraged, he thanked God that the deal hadn't worked out
Wow.
because he had faith that something better was coming. And a few weeks later, a much more lucrative opportunity presented itself.
Wow. So sometimes the universe has a bigger plan,
Yes,
even when we can't see it yet.
that's right.
Trust the process, even when things go wrong.
Yeah.
Don't lose faith.
He even says that as long as you maintain your faith, your purpose, and your gratitude, you literally cannot fail.
Wow.
He believes that the universe will provide the resources and the guidance you need to achieve your goals.
So anyone can achieve great things regardless of their background?
Yes,
If they tap into that inner power and follow these principles.
that's what he argues, and he really encourages us to go on in full faith,
Mhm.
trusting that the universe is on our side.
It's an inspiring message. But, realistically, there's a lot of different advice out there about how to get rich.
Right.
Does Wattles acknowledge that there are other approaches?
He does. He knows there are lots of different systems and theories out there.
Yeah.
But he believes that his principles are like the most direct path to wealth.
Okay,
And he even advises against getting bogged down in other systems
right?
while you're trying to master his.
Yeah, it's like trying to follow too many maps at once.
Exactly.
You'll end up lost.
Focus on one clear path.
Okay.
He also suggests steering clear of certain topics altogether.
Okay.
like occult stuff or pessimistic news.
Okay.
Anything that might distract you from your vision or create negativity.
So be mindful of the information that you're consuming.
Yes.
Create a mental environment that supports your growth and attracts abundance.
He says it best. You can aim at nothing so great or noble as to become rich, and you must fix your attention upon your mental picture of riches to the exclusion of all that may tend to dim or obscure the vision.
Wow, that's powerful stuff. So to recap, Wattles' certain way
Yes.
is about clear vision, burning desire, unshakable faith,
Yeah.
efficient action, and a whole lot of gratitude.
And he believed that anyone who follows these principles diligently will inevitably achieve financial success and a richer life overall.
It's a really empowering message.
It is.
We have more power to shape our reality than we think.
Absolutely. And remember, he wrote this over a century ago.
Wow.
But these ideas are just as relevant today as they were back then. They speak to a timeless truth about abundance and the power of the human mind.
So as you, our listener, go forth from this deep dive, we leave you with this question. If you truly believed in unlimited abundance and your power to tap into it, what would you create? What's your grand vision?
Don't hold back. Dream big. Let your imagination run wild.
And remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
That's right.
Take that step today. Align your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions with these principles of abundance. Your journey to wealth and fulfillment is just beginning.
And the universe is waiting to support you every step of the way.
That's all for this deep dive. Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep creating the life of your dreams.